Hi, I am going to be talking to my lovely friend Cynthia today. I may have registered my phone in a very bad way, but we'll see how that goes. So Cynthia is in Miami. I don't know what time it is there. Maybe like 11:30 in the morning. We'll see. So it's 4:30 in the afternoon here. So I'm just going to see how she's making work. And here she comes. Let me add her in. Ooh. Does that work? Yes, I've done it. Da, 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 waiting for Cynthia. Hey!
Hi!
You!
Hi, Bramble!
She thinks everyone's talking to her.
Oh, so nice to see you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, okay. I'm all right. I'm hanging in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you look good. You look good.
I have a tan for a change.
You have.
I know. I actually have a tan. Crazy. I got here and I was like, I need sunshine. Oh, I miss the
Yeah,
sun.
yeah.
It's
Must be nice to be back in Miami now. After all, like, how long were you in London for? Like in years?
8 years.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of rain.
That's a lot of rain. And timing to come back. Imagine had I not come back in January, I would have been stuck.
I was saying that. I was actually said that to Brian last night. I was like, actually, the timing was great in as it all happened. Really, for you to head home and then be at home for all of this is probably for the best.
Oh my God, completely. Because like my mom would have been here on her own, and that
Yeah,
really freaked me out. So it actually worked out for the best, and it was time to go. London. I love London, but it was too. It's just difficult, you know.
yeah. London is hard. London's hard work. Just getting
Yeah,
by in London is hard work.
yeah.
Yeah. So we should tell people how we met because I find it very funny.
So we met at the Griffin Art Prize, and
Yeah.
you were one of the people that I most gelled with. And got, I mean, it's funny because like I don't generally gel so quickly with people, and you're just one of those people that I just gravitated towards, and it just
We
kind of.
just It was so good because it was an art prize, and I think we both kind of predicted that neither of us were going to win this prize, judging by what was on offer and the way it was geared. So we both were kind of just there to have a good time. We were like, we're here, that's why. This is fine. Like, let's just enjoy ourselves. So yeah, it was just funny. I remember us chatting in the lift. That I remember, like at the private view, because it was sort of like the Bake Off. This prize, you had to like stand and wait to hear who had won, in a big like announcement ceremony, which was quite intense,
Oh,
but
that was
less intense
so
when you've already decided
stressful.
you haven't won.
That was so stressful. Oh my God.
I didn't. I think it's like I didn't mind because it obviously, like for me, I was like, well, the winner wins paint, so I'm clearly not winning this because the prize is paint. um, but it was the fact that people kept turning to look at you like, you're going to announce it. And you're like, why are we bothering pretending here?
Like, got really drunk on the opening. Like I was pretty trashed and just kind of having fun and whatever happens, happens, you know? But
It was a good time.
it was still good because I met you and you know, it's a nice thing to have on your CV and whatnot. But like also I managed to get the elephant residency, which gave me a lot of free materials, which is really, really useful
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
still
It'll work for the
expensive.
best. 4 years later. Well, I've never really asked you like how you got into arts, like from like coming over from the US and like studying in the UK. 'Cause you went to Goldsmiths, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
How that journey kind of began pre-London, I don't really know much about.
basically, I mean, I started kind of as far as studying, I started late. I always made art, but I didn't really know how to paint per se. I didn't know how to use paint. I just kind of improvised. And then I moved to New York when I was 18. I lived there for 10 years, and I had a studio there. I never showed
Mm,
work, so I just had a studio there, and I just made art for myself, and that was it. And then my best friend came to visit me in New York from Miami, and she was like, "You need to go to art school." And so I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And it's school's never been my thing. I was a high school dropout. Like I just never considered school. And then I was like, well, I'll give it a shot. And then I applied to New World School of the Arts in Miami, and I got
right.
accepted. And then so I moved from New York to Miami, and I studied here. I think I did part time because I was in New World for it felt like ages. And then
Part-time does feel like this.
yeah, I was in New World for a really long time. And then I graduated New World and applied. Funny, I only applied to two art schools for my master's, which was oh my God, where the fuck did I apply? Oh, Hunter in New York and Goldsmiths. And I got rejected at Hunter and accepted at Goldsmiths. So I moved to London in 2012.
Mm.
And yeah, I mean, Goldsmiths was really intense.
Yeah, I was going how did you find Goldsmiths? Because I hear so many kind of mixed reviews on their courses, because I suppose their courses are quite varied, really. But what did you study and how?
I got lucky. I actually really liked my tutors. Like I had Mark Lecky, which was huge
Mm.
to have him. He's actually one of the best tutors I've had. I also had like David Mabb, who's another great tutor. Goldsmiths is really academic, and I didn't really come from that background. I came like in New World, it's more focused on like technical, like
Mm.
learn how to paint, learn how to
Yeah.
draw. So going to Goldsmiths was very, it was definitely different for me. But I felt like they were really supportive and good to me. So
Mm.
I met great people there. No regrets. I met really great people. The only thing, I mean, I'm in a lot of student loan debt, obviously, but like,
Yeah.
which I'll be paying for the rest of my life. But other than that, I mean, I have no regrets. It was a really good experience. Where did
Mm.
you go?
I went to, so I didn't want to do a foundation because I've always been quite, when I know what I want to do, I've always been quite belligerent about it. So I didn't want to do a year of experimenting. So I went straight in. I found like it was only a few unis that would look at you without one. So I went off to Winchester School of Art, which is part of Southampton Uni, and I did a 3-year painting degree. And then by the end of that, I decided my show was all drawings. So I was like, well, I need to kind of pursue this further because I feel like I've spent at least 2.5 years studying a medium I'm not actually going to pursue. Well, not at the moment anyway.
Yeah,
So then I went and did MA drawing at Wimbledon, which I didn't enjoy, but I had a scholarship, so I saw it out to the end. But it was very mostly based on writing and a lot of kind of at the time, it felt like a lot of like 1980s ideas about drawing, about it being just a kind of snobbery about people who make marks on paper. It kind of felt like that was like just way too obvious. And in fact, like to be fair, that is exactly what the examiner said, is that there were too many works on paper and it wasn't imaginative enough on a drawing MA, which was quite hard to accept. So yeah, so I after that I went and did the drawing year at the Royal Drawing School, which is like it's a PG dip, which is basically what you'd get if you dropped off of an MA after a year. So you don't have to do a writing piece, and it's not like fully accredited, but it's a course you do for for
yeah.
your practice. So, and that was great. It kind of just finished everything off, and by the end of that, I was done with art school. That was like 6 years. of being told like, you should do this, you should do that, this is what you should change, da, 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 da. And I think I was a bit of a nightmare on that course, to be fair. I just had enough, but I did need it at the same time, and it was sort of both things going on at once.
It takes a lot to kind of like unlearn certain things, you know, like art school, and kind of figuring out like what you should listen to, what you shouldn't listen to, and just kind of, I mean, I've gone back a little bit to the way I used to work before I went to art school, which was more intuitive. And I feel like art school frowns upon that, which I don't get why. But
no, and once you become a professional artist, it's completely different to the sort of work the way you're encouraged to make work at art school. Like on my degree, you had to have, you know, a folder and several sketchbooks about one painting that you'd made, and in reality, who does that? You know, you just make it.
no one does that ever.
No, it took me a long time to kind of realize I didn't need to like explain everything I was doing all the time. Like, there's no longer an examiner, you know, it's for you, you know, and you can say as much or as little as you like. It's great.
Exactly. That's a big one. And do you find that you work in the same way or differently since like this whole lockdown has happened? Like, are you more
Well, we had a fun one because we were moving. So like the whole first half of lockdown was trying to find a house in lockdown, which is interesting. Lots of virtual viewings, or like the estate agent unlocks, runs away, and then you go in and then you drive off when you're done and they lock up. So like weird kind of like trying to sort out those kind of things. So I didn't really feel properly locked down until about a week ago when we were like settled here. I was like, oh, I'm not going anywhere. Nothing's happening now. So maybe that was lucky, but obviously moving house is stressful anyway, so it's not really that lucky. So, but now it's like getting used to the new studio. Yeah.
I was like, what is going on? Like 1 minute I'm in London and things are fine. The next minute I'm here and there's a pandemic and I don't know what the fuck. Like I literally came here with nothing, and I just, you know, I'm at my mom's and I immediately started looking for work, and I'm like, okay, I have to learn how to drive again because I have really major anxiety and I don't like driving. So I was like, myself up like, okay, I gotta learn how to drive again, and I'm gonna force myself to do this. And I got a job, and you know, things started to kind of pan out, and then this shit happens, and now I'm just back to point A. You know, it's
mad. Yeah, I mean, I was talking to Rebecca yesterday, and she was saying, you know, all artists are in a uniquely difficult position. And then she said, actually, you know, your husband's a performer. And I was like, yeah, his job is big crowds. So it's funny, like, the more you think about it, the more jobs there are that are crazy, like hairdressing, like all these kind of jobs that are just like person on person. Like, how will we get back to that? Yeah, I suppose I feel lucky in that at least you could have a gallery open and have one person in at a time. And to be fair, apart from a private view, that would be fairly normal to have one person come in and go. That's kind of normal footfall for most London galleries, unless it's like the National Gallery. So it's not crazy. You could kind of envisage it going back, but like some jobs, I guess, are just completely just waiting for complete normality.
Well, I was thinking too, yeah, with Brian, like he's a musician, like what, you know, I don't know how concerts.
Yeah, I guess that's like, yeah, waiting for a cure. I don't know, or some kind of like everyone wears like a swimming noodle on their head.
We all have bubbles. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, all in those like balls that you go in the water, you know, on holiday. That'd be quite a good way to enjoy a concert, surely, if everyone was in. What are those called? I don't know. But anyway, that would be quite fun. I'd be down for that. Very hot.
Really hot, especially here, but still, that would be amazing.
It could work. I'll put it out there.
Now I know you're supposed to travel. I was actually gonna try and meet you guys in Japan.
I
I'm
know.
bummed.
I was going to see you in Miami. I was going to go to Japan like at the end of this like traveling year, and we were all going to meet up.
I
It's
know I have
fine.
fun plans for us here, but
Mm. At least I got all my money back. At least all the companies were like, "Yep, that's fair." In comparison to like the other like American airlines and stuff, like all those things I'd kind of booked in Miami, like the Airbnb and the flights in and out, they were simple. So that was good.
yeah, so nobody
So
wasted time. That's good.
yeah, yeah. What have you been working on? Because I've seen some new paintings going on, and I don't know like how much you have a workspace and like what's happening. What's happening behind you?
So basically, this is my workspace, which is my bedroom. That's my most recent guy. But here I'll. It's funny. I have like a little tripod that I just bought, and I'm like, I get to use it now. Um, so yeah, this is my most recent one. I don't know if you could see it closely.
I love it. It's so weird.
It's weird. I don't know what is going on in my head right now, but like, these are these four little ones I made during during lockdown as well. I don't know if you can see.
Mm.
And same
Wow.
thing. So these four little ones and this house one. A lot of house themes lately. This house one.
Yeah, I've not seen you put houses in before. Is that like
No,
about being in the house, or is that just like completely
it's
something else?
it's I mean it's I think it's clearly about being stuck in a house.
It's filtering through.
All these things are creeping in that I normally wouldn't add in. Like for example, plants. Like a lot of them have plants in them, and like I've never
Mm.
been like a big plant person. I've never really had a green thumb or anything like that. And now that I'm kind of forced to be in the house, I have been planting, and it's been fun. And so it's just kind of snuck in my paintings now.
I think that's great. Like, no one I've spoken to has really said it's like that, other than maybe Nettie, like on Tuesday, has really said that it's like crept into their work. Most people like are just progressing with projects they already had or like things they wanted to do. And like yours are definitely isolation and like seclusion and being stuck in lockdown. It's like it's all coming in there.
It's
It's
all
great. But you're like, properly into like sci-fi and like these kind of like end of the world stories and all this kind of stuff. So I guess this like surreal situation totally plays into the sort of narratives you already have running in the paintings.
100%. Like, and not to mention like dreams. Oh my God, my dreams have been insane.
Yeah, me too. So
Really?
weird.
Do you
Yeah.
actually do you remember them like when you wake up? Do you like
Yeah, I like literally had to tell someone about it the other day because like I had the weirdest dream that like I had to marry a friend to like get American citizenship so that I could marry my husband, which is weird because obviously I would just marry him if I wanted American citizenship. And then I woke up like convinced I committed bigamy because I just suddenly woke up and there was nothing lying next to Brian. And I was like, oh, I've committed a crime. And then I felt the need to like text that person and be like, I married you in my dream for your citizenship.
God, that's hilarious. That's so
Really
bizarre.
weird.
I wonder why you dreamt that. That's so bizarre. Like, yeah, I have like really like, because I also suffer from sleep paralysis. So I have that a lot. I get episodes like maybe once or twice a month. And like,
Mm.
usually when I get an episode, I also have like really vivid dreams along with it. And usually it's people breaking into the house trying to kidnap me. Like that's a big one that I get all the time. Hence, I think why this little dude came out. But like if you look close, it's like he's like sitting on the roof and he's like coming in and out of windows and stuff. And
Mm.
yeah, it's kind of funny because my mom, she's super religious and like doesn't understand. you know, she doesn't quite get the concept of art. She thinks all art needs to be really pretty and flowers and trees and blah blah blah. And so
Yeah.
I have to
I
go
was
back.
like my dad. He used to always say, "You'd make a lot more money if you colored them in."
Yeah, exactly. It's like, so
Thanks, Granddad.
I've had to like work in the backyard, you know, and I don't like working in front of people. I'm really private. I hate people staring at me when I'm working. And but since I'm using oils, I have to work in the yard. So she'll like creep up
Mm.
behind me and be like, "What's that?" And I'm like, try explaining to like a little old Dominican lady what, you know,
It's
it's a
hot.
deep coming from the window.
I love your mum. Like you post the best like mum content I've ever seen. It
Yeah,
makes me so happy. Just your mum singing like Celine Dion and stuff. It's just brilliant.
she's such a character. She's such a character. She's kind of like my muse since, you know, I'm stuck here with her. I'm like, you have no choice. I'm gonna film you all the time. And she's hilarious. Like she loves 80s songs and she, you know, she doesn't speak English great, but she's trying to teach herself. And the way she does that is by looking up YouTube videos and singing along with the lyrics. So I have recording that.
I love that. That's brilliant.
Really cute, yeah. But yeah,
Ah,
interesting. It's been interesting. Where did you move to? Where do you live now?
I'm not going to announce it on live.
Okay, what area?
I haven't moved far. We're not far from where we were. Yeah,
Oh, okay. So you're not far from where you were. Okay. That's
is my place good?
okay. How are you adjusting to the new house?
I love it. It's like it's this house feels cozier, and it's like I don't know what it is about it, but it just feels like ours in a way that it didn't in the last place so much. I
Yeah.
think because the last place had a vibe, and this place was like a white, white walls. But because I have so many like paintings and plants and artwork and stuff, it was really easy to make this us from
Yeah.
nothing. So therefore, like everything in the house that makes it yours is like really actually yours. So I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah,
there
no,
aren't so many features to fight against, I suppose. But yeah.
definitely. And your
So it's,
studio, like if say the pandemic wasn't going on, right? Like would you
hmm.
still be working from home or would you have had a separate studio?
I would probably I'd be looking for a studio, I think, just because I found it very difficult having a home space. It's something I wanted to try for a really long time, but it didn't work for me really. I just found it too hard. I mean, I already have like 10 things going on in my mind all the time. Like Brian will be like frying eggs, say, and I'm like, I'm gonna put the laundry on and I need to wash that up. And no, there's something hanging on the line, and like I can't just do one thing. And like throwing my artwork into the house at the same time as all those billion other things I'm trying to do at once is just too much, and I can't prioritize.
It's distract.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and I can't decide what's more important, like moving the laundry on or going and doing some drawing, because they both need to happen, and I can't like line it up in my head when to cut off drawing and go do other stuff. So I need it to be in another building that I have now left, and walked out of. And now I'm home.
Yeah. Another building where all this stuff isn't going on. Now I completely get that. I'm gonna the plan is like once things chill out a bit, I'm gonna have a shed built in my backyard and use
Oh,
that
cool.
space because there's like a really nice. Here, I'll show you the yard. Look how sunny it is,
Oh, I'm
right?
so jealous.
I know. So basically, I'm gonna get a shed built in the backyard and just use that as a space to work in because it's like
Mm,
I'm really messy when I work, and I need the space around me to be a mess. And but
mm,
my home life, I'm clean. You know what I mean? Like I want the bedroom clean, and I want things to be clean. But when I'm making art,
mm.
extremely messy. So I want a space where I could be a mess and not have to worry about, getting paints on the floor and which I've already done and you know, screwing stuff up.
Yeah. No, I feel the same, and I generally, my studios usually are pretty messy. Even though my practice itself isn't messy, I like the kind of like having piles of interesting things all over the place, and like your postcards and posters and objects and all that. I like that. It keeps my mind like interested when I look
Exactly.
around and
Yeah.
engaged.
Yeah.
So I kind of miss that, like in like essentially like a spare bedroom situation. It's sort of, you feel the need to keep it quite clean and neat. Doesn't quite feel like a studio.
No, God, no. Like it really doesn't, and it like definitely affects your practice too. Like, well, for me, it affects
Mhm.
my practice. You know, I'm working a lot smaller than I'm used to working. You know, I'm used to working much bigger than this size, but it's okay.
Mm.
It's I'm experimenting a lot, and I'm doing a lot of things I normally wouldn't do
Mm.
per se. But so that's okay. That's working out. But I need a space. I need somewhere else to go and not feel like I have to be clean and pristine and like worry about my surroundings.
Yeah. What paint are you using in a minute? Are you working in acrylic?
Acrylic and oil and markers, pastas
All together or on different things?
all together.
All together.
Yeah.
How does acrylic, do you have to put one before the other? Like, is there a way of like working with both?
Yeah.
That's, how do you do
But
that?
the pastas are acrylic, water based. And so the pasta markers and the acrylics you can use any order, it doesn't really matter. And then the
Mm.
oils go on after. So you always put oils over acrylics, never the other way around.
Mm.
So basically,
Okay.
the oils are like the finishing touch, you know, because it's oil paint is far more vibrant and
Mm.
also nicer. You get nicer detail with oil. I prefer oil paint. I love painting in oils. For me, it's much easier to paint in oils than acrylics. But so,
So
but yeah,
what's the use of the base acrylic layer then? Is it like, is it just a nice, like, to start out with something that dries rapidly?
yeah, the acrylic I use is kind of like an underpainting, and it kind of maps out where I'm going, and then
Mm.
once the painting is formed, I finish it off in oils. So I do any like detailed bits in oils or glazing, you know. But
Yeah, because there's a lot of detail. You can't see it on live, but there's like so much detail in these paintings. It's incredible.
yeah, actually, I wanted to ask you about that because I think that's going to be an interesting thing. Like, for example, your work is so detailed, it doesn't translate the same in photographs as it does in real life. And like,
Mm.
for like, you're working on a show coming up, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Is it going to
Was
be
that
an online thing? Like, what's happening with that?
So we discussed having it as an online thing, but both me and the gallery owner, we both thought it was ideal not to do that, just because of the amount of like time and like detail that's gone into these works, and how much, for me, they're slightly different to things I've shown before, and I just really wanted them in a real space so people could see them, like in real life, and then like, yeah, to hang them together as well, like physically put them together, it was important as well. So hopefully it will be the show that the gallery reopens with. But in what form, I'm not, we'll see. It's sort of still up in the air.
Yeah, because I feel like with your work, it needs to be seen in the flesh, you know? It doesn't translate the same in photographs. They're so detailed and like gorgeous. It needs
Mm.
to be. Um, so when's that show happening?
We've sort of put it at September for now because that felt like a safer
Yeah.
date. But we will just sort of see how things go, I think, because it's fairly flexible. I mean, because it was meant to be now, so it's
Uh,
all it's extended out.
wow. So all the work you're making now, you're basically working towards that show.
Yeah, so I would have been doing a residency like a month ago, and that would have been like my like go crazy on it, get it all done residency. But instead we were like house hunting, and lockdown had just started and all this kind of stuff. So I would have had a show ready for now, but then I got the extra time, so now I'm going a bit slower, and there's a few extra pieces I'd kind of wanted to make that I might now have time to do, hopefully. We'll see.
Nice. And the residency
How
work,
about you been
sorry.
working towards? I said, how about you? Is there anything you've been working towards?
Um, Not at the moment. Right now, I just want to kind of take advantage of all the free time that I have
Mhm.
and build a body.
Yeah,
And once I feel, good about a body of work, then I'll figure out where I can show it. I mean, I definitely have options, but I'm not really rushing anything right now. I'm just kind of having fun, making
yeah,
art,
yeah.
experimenting.
I think that's good. And you had to leave, some sculptures and things in London as well. So there's sort of like an arm of your practice that's sort of left behind, and you're trying to form new work from without that kind of like buffer of all your other work around you. So
Exactly.
it does take a while. It does take a while to like build that up again.
Yeah, it was weird having to leave so much work behind and kind of sad, but like at the same time, it's in a way it's a good thing because I don't think being surrounded by my old work is productive for me. I like kind of having a clean slate and just starting
Mm,
new and fresh and just you know. So
yeah.
it's actually kind
I
of worked.
never said that. I always used to want to have everything, all the frames pieces in my studio, just like facing out. I wanted to see everything and like feel good about it. But then I realized that actually it's probably not that healthy because I
Yeah,
just slowly go off everything rather than turn it around and be pleasantly surprised, like, oh, that's quite nice, That'd be better if you don't look at it all the time.
yeah. I always find it like more I don't know. It's more helpful for me to not be surrounded by my old work. I can experiment more and just kind of having the pressure of having staring at all my old work, and I just something about that. I've never liked that. Like I've always tried to wrap up my old work and just put it away and not have it around me.
Mhm.
So it's actually been all right. Like I don't mind, I left the work in safe places. Like, I've had friends hold on to it for me and stuff. So that's yeah, I'll get it back one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything you were working on that like had to get cut short because of lockdown, or were you still too kind of like fresh into moving back to Miami?
Um, yeah, I haven't really honestly like I moved here January 27th and
Mm,
everything happened within a few weeks and my first few weeks here I was more focused on like finding work and just trying to get myself situated and I wasn't intending on using my room as a studio. I was actually looking for a studio space, which is actually
mm.
really hard in Miami, believe it or not. It's not easy. Like there's not much.
Oh,
Yeah, London was much easier to find a studio space. So
really?
yeah, yeah, really
That's
weird.
not good.
No, no, not at all. Not at all. It's been really hard
I
finding.
found it hard in London.
No, it was actually much easier in London to find a studio space. And yeah, I've just been trying to like wrap my head around like moving and stuff. It kind of sucks because I've had to rework my plans because my plan was originally to live, half the year in Miami or most of the year in Miami actually, and then maybe like 3 or 4 months in New York. Um,
Mm,
New York has a really great art scene, and I know a lot of people there. And my friend has a space there. She's like, you could crash here as long as you want. So I kind of had a nice setup, and that was the plan. But
yeah.
now that's not happening. So I don't
It's that
know.
slow plans at the moment.
I don't know. It's weird to not know what the future is going to be. It's just, and I have a
Yeah.
hard time not like being able to visualize or like plan something out because it's like there's no point in me planning anything because I don't know what's going to happen. You know?
Mm. Yeah. I end up starting very cyclical conversations about future plans. with people and then realizing like, well, this conversation can't go that far. Let's restart it again later.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a lot of online shows,
Yeah, a lot of online shows.
you know.
Have you actually really looked at any online shows? Because I
Um,
have to say, although there have been quite a few, I've probably only looked at like one or two. Maybe because I'm so used to like seeing everything on Instagram anyway, that the idea of looking at an online show feels kind of the same.
it is,
I don't know if
yeah,
that's bad.
same. I mean, Instagram really is for me like the viewing room, you know. I follow artists that I like and I see what they're up to. And, you know, I haven't really, I've seen like maybe two online shows, but um, Instagram has really been me as far as finding work. And I miss
Mm,
like planning because, like, when I lived in London, you know, I would plan a day off where I would, you know, just hit up a bunch of galleries and go to the pub and, you know, just by myself and just you know, have a drink. I kind of miss doing that, you know?
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. Well, I kind of wanted to talk to people about what they were doing and what kind of work they were making in lockdown and like how it was going because I felt like Instagram kind of sells you the idea because everyone only like takes their picture like, oh, I'm in the garden having a you know a drink, and then oh I've made this painting, and you don't really know if anyone else is having a bit of a tough time or like how easy they're finding it making work with very little influence. So
yeah.
I just kind of wanted to feel about it and see how what everyone's doing. Oh, there you are. Oh, I can't hear you now. This happened with Adam. Can you hear me? Can do a talk in mine. We might have to hang up and start again. Okay, I'll be back.